I'll be honest with a lot of people listening out here. In my past, I exhibited a lot of characteristics of narcissism. In fact, like I believe that I was a narcissist at a certain period of time because of my wounds. Now, after my relationship ended, that relationship ended, and I was left on my ass, I suddenly received all this information of myself. I could see myself in a mirror, and I was like, oh my God, this is me. And I was filled with so much shame fear of who I was because I had cheated on my partners. I was such a bad person. I was manipulating people to get their love and attention. And when I finally saw it, I was so ashamed of myself. But I realized that if I'm shaming who I was, I cannot love who I am. It's impossible. It is impossible for you to love who you are today if you're still shaming parts of yourself from yesterday. And so we need to first see those versions. And what I find helps with myself is understanding why we did what we did, understanding who the person was when something happened. Because then we recognize this person as either wounded or I was going through huge wounds, which is why I had to like find all the love I could from everybody else, and I cheated on my partner. Nothing is excusable. But when you understand that I was a younger boy who had no space for healing, I couldn't talk about it. Nobody gave me the space to talk about my healing or even understand it. Then it makes sense to say, that's why I stepped into all these other methods. So when we release that shame, we take off this weight from our chest. So I want to ask you, Theo, like, how do you help some of your clients like release that weight, whether it's shame, whether it's like resentment, whether it's like an anger they hold towards a former partner? And that can be a big one, right? This anger towards a parent or a former partner. How do you help your like people, whether it's on retreats or wherever you work with them, how do you help them release that? Because at the end of the day, carrying that weight doesn't affect the partner or the parent. The partner and the parent are probably like sipping mojitos on like in Cuba on a beach doing whatever they want, but we're holding the pain, right?
Right.
So like, how do you help them release that weight and that pain?
You know, one thing about trauma, and just before answering this, what we need to understand is that we get so caught on how the story went wrong that we subconsciously want to change the end. We get
Right.
attachment, whether if it's with abandonment, with shame, with invalidation, with a rejection. We just want to change the end. If I felt this big shame, I want it to be different. So I will subconsciously attract a similar situation with the hope that this will be different. That's why you were talking about we attract people that are to our parents, because we want to change the freaking ending. But instead of thinking of changing the ending, because that will not happen, we should focus on changing the beginning. Let's different story. Let's find a new story. And that's one of the things I tell a lot of my clients, like, don't try to change the ending, change the beginning of your story.
What does that mean, change the beginning of the story? Can you explain that in detail?
Yeah, like, because we normally go by the same patterns and we make the same decisions again and again, and we attract the same people, and we realize that what is familiar to us is not necessarily what is good for us, but towards what is familiar, not what is good. So we have to learn to identify that the things that we made familiar can be violent and harmful and like
damaging and
to us. But where I feel that, oh, this is normal because we grew up in a very harmful environment. So I tell people a lot that they have to focus on learning a different way. What is familiar is not what is necessarily good.
Hey, and welcome to the Inner Yats YouTube page. If you like our content, make sure you click the like and the subscribe button so that you get more of these amazing videos that keep coming your way.